when I wanted to read complete line or when I wanted to read sequence of character, instead of get function, we are going to use this getLine function. Why I am using this L? In order to signify the length. What is the length of a character or what is the length of a string? In order to get to know that, I am taking one more variable called L. We are going to use this string concatenation function in order to make or in order to concatenate or to combine two strings. Hello everybody, welcome to the last session on chapter 12, that is function. I am Rohini TS from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In the previous session of this chapter, we have learned regarding these many topics. That is all what I have discussed. So I have discussed regarding the character function. So any character or a single character which is enclosed between a single quote is nothing but a character. So if I wanted to manipulate that character, then we are going to have this character functions. So there we got to know that how we are going to give a input as a single character, then how it will be outputting or how it will going to be displayed as a single character as an output. And also I have discussed regarding the string function. So stream of character is nothing but string. So string is a collection of character or a sequence of character. So for example, I am going to use single quote in order to represent a single character. What if I wanted to have a stream of character? What if I wanted to have a sequence of character? Then we are going to use double quotes. So at that time, I can write more than one character in a single statement. So more than one character can be grouped as a single string that needs to be quoted with double quotes. So in order to manipulate all kinds of string, then we are going to use this string function. So there I have discussed regarding how we are going to declare a string variable. It is like a declaration of an array. There also we are going to mention the size here also. But you have to understand one thing, in the C++, we don't have a keyword or we don't have a data type called string. So instead of that, string is considered as a sequence of character or a stream of character. So that for the declaration purpose, we are going to use char data type and I have to specify the string name and within bracket, I have to specify the size. That is within square bracket, we have to specify size, at last put semicolon. This is how the declaration of this string variable will going to takes place. And also I have discussed regarding initialization of a string. That means giving some initial value to the string is called as initialization of a string. So in our today's session, we are going to learn with the inputting a string. How we are going to input a string. For example, now I have declared and I have initialized some value, then how we are going to input the value for this string and how we are going to do the outputting. And also I am going to discuss regarding some of the string manipulation function that include string length, string concatenation, string copy, string compare, and we are going to have one more function which is related to compare itself. Everything that I am going to discuss in my today's session along with the other function. That means other than this character and string function, what are some of the functions that we have in our C++, that and all I am going to discuss in my today's session. So let me get into the today's session, that is regarding how we are going to input a string. So you just recall how we are going to take the input for a single character, that too by making use of a get function. No. So here, in order to take stream of character or if I wanted to take a sequence of character, instead of get, we are going to use getLine function. So remember students, getLine function is used to read a string. So then what is the general form? How we are going to use as a syntax? So in order to use this getLine function, we have to follow the syntax. So what it will includes cin dot getLine. GetLine is a function. I am accessing it with the help of this cin object. That means we are taking it is only for the purpose of inputting. That's why we have to take cin. You should not take cout for this. Cin dot getLine of. So what is this that parenthesis includes or what it comprises of? It will going to take some of the parameters or arguments in order to perform the operation which is mentioned in this function. So here how many arguments I have? I have two arguments. One is string and another one is size. So we are passing two arguments. One is string value, that means whatever the name or any of the characters, sequence of character that I am going to take is a string, and I have to mention the size that represents the number of character in a particular string. So when I wanted to read complete line or when I wanted to read sequence of character, instead of get function, we are going to use this get line function. So what is the general syntax? Cin dot get line of string comma size. So we'll see the example. Cin dot get line of st. What is the string name I am giving? I am taking a string name as st. After that comma, then what is the size I am mentioning? I am mentioning the size as 25. So what it means? This st will going to have a capability to hold up to 25 character. It doesn't mean that you have to give all the 25 character, but it has a ability or capability to hold up to 25 character. So here st is equal to, I am going to take ROHINI. Okay, so what it represent, this st is holding the value. Okay, how many characters it includes? It includes 6 character, but I am mentioning the size as 25. Okay, that means up to 25 character we can take. So in order to input string, we are going to use this getLine function. Then when I will get to know the where I should stop the inputting, when the number of character reaches to the maximum size. So when I'm giving some input like st is equal to, I'm going to give some of the character which is sequence of character. When it reaches to the maximum size of a declaration, at that time it will going to stop taking the input, or else when it encounters null character or when it encounters new line character, at that time it will going to stop taking the input for this particular string. So that you can see that getLine function will going to terminate its reading when it founds or when it get this new line character, that is \n or a endl. So when this found this new line character or a terminator called \0, that is null character, at that time the string will going to stop taking the input, or else it will going to stop taking the input when it reaches to the maximum size of a string during the declaration. Okay, so now we'll see how we are going to do this outputting a string. So in order to take a input, we are going to use getLine function. And you just recall, in order to output a single character, which function was used? That is put. But here we don't have put line function. Instead of that, we have a write function. Okay, so write function is used to output a string. So what is this general form or a syntax of this outputting a string comprises of? So it will going to have cout. That is console output dot write function I am using. So within the parenthesis, what and all we are sending as an argument, that it includes string and size. So string represents a sequence of character and up to what number of sizes you have to display a character, that is what we are going to specify in the size. So here you can see the example, cout dot write of st comma 25. That means what? This st will going to display whatever the value is there in st will going to display up to 25 character. Okay, let me take one more example to make you understand this one. So let me take the value of this first cin dot get line of st comma 20. Okay, next I am going to initialize this st with only 6 character. After that, let me display the output cout dot, what we are going to use? We are going to use write function, as well as I am going to take this st comma 3. Okay. So you can understand by these 3 lines of statement here, by making use of this getLine function, I am reading a character, that is what maximum size is 20, and I have initialized this is string. So here instead of this you can also specify the size. Okay, so that is what square bracket is equal to Rohini I am taking, but by making use of a write function, I am displaying only, I just wanted to display only 3 character from the SD string. So what it will going to display? It will going to display only 3 character. Okay, this is how this write function will going to work. It will going to display the number of character that we are going to specify in this particular size. Okay, and you have to remember one thing, when it encounters null, does it going to terminate? No. Okay, so when it found null or any of the new line character, at that time it won't stop to the execution or it won't stop to the displaying of a character. So when it reaches to the maximum size, then only it will going to come out of that particular statement. Okay, so that is what you have to understand from this outputting a string. So I hope you understood how we are going to give the input to a string as well as outputting a string. So now we'll see the example program to read a string and print the string. So in order to read a string, which function we are going to use? We are going to use getLine function in order to read a string, and in order to print a string we are going to use write function. Okay, we'll see the program now. Here I have 3 header files. So which are those? Include iostream.h. So why we are going to use this iostream.h? Only for the purpose of taking input and output stream, as well as I have this conio.h or econio.h, that is console input output header file. So when I wanted to read and display the content of input and output, then we are going to use this conio.h. And main thing, I'm using string.h. Already I have discussed regarding the string function. If I wanted to perform string function, I have to use a string.h header file. So that I'm including this string.h header file. So next what we have, main function, that is void main, where the actual execution of a program will going to get started with the help of this main function. And this indicates, this opening of a flower brace indicates opening a scope of this main function. What and all we are going to write between this opening and closing of a flower braces will going to be stated, or it will going to be grouped as a all the element, and all these statements belong to this main function. Okay, so next I am declaring a character. I am declaring a character or a string. I am declaring string. How can I say this as a string? Because here we have a size that represents a stream of character. So char is a data type, s is the name of a string, and within square bracket I am taking a size of a string. At last don't forget to put semicolon, that indicates the termination of this character or a string declaration. So next I have int L. So here I have one more variable that is called L. So why I am using this L? In order to signify the length. What is the length of a character or what is the length of a string? In order to get to know that, I am taking one more variable called L, which is of the data type integer. That means it will going to hold only integer values. So next I am using clear screen function. When I am using this CLR SCR function, then we have to include this conio.h. So what is the use of having this CLR SCR, that is clear screen? When I wanted to remove or when I wanted to erase all the content or all the output content of a previous program, then we are going to use this clear screen function. Okay, so next cout, enter the string. So the compiler is asking us to enter the value for string. So that is in the cout statement. What is the next statement I have? That is important statement called cin.getLine. What was the syntax that I have discussed in my previous slide? That is what, how we are going to take the stream of character, that too with the help of getLine function. What was the syntax? Am I supposed to use this cin or cout? We have to use cin. So cin dot get line of, I am taking a string as well as the size. So this s is a string and 50 is the maximum size. Okay, so let me consider that s as Vidhyaashram. What was the maximum size? I can give up to 50 character, but how many characters I am taking here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So what is the S size? So it has totally 12 character. So this is just for the reference, you remember. Okay. So next, L is equal to Sdrlen. So what is this? This is a function. String length is a function that I will be discussing in my coming slides. So Sdrlen of yes. What is the size of this yes? What is the value I am taking? How many characters I am taking? I am taking 12 character, right? I am taking 12 characters, and now the size of L is related to 12 character. Okay, so now we got to know that size of L is 12. So, but its maximum sizes can up to 50, but I am taking only 12 characters. So, what I have in the next statement, see out, the key one string is, I am displaying the string. What we have in cout dot write of S comma L. What is the S value? That is Vidhyaashram. And what is the L value? That is 12. It indicates that I have to display all the 12 character which has been stored in the variable called yes. Okay, this is how we are going to use getLine function in order to read a string and write function in order to display a string. Here, if I am going to take 50 character, then that 50 character size will going to be stored in this L. Okay, whatever we have in L, that is length of a string, will going to be displayed. Okay, so it doesn't mean that when I am giving 50, that doesn't mean that I have to take all the 50 character. That is the maximum size. I can have the characters or a value for the S up to 50. In that way, you have to understand. Okay, so at last get ch function, and I am going to close the main function. Okay, so this is related to how we are going to read and display the string. So now we'll see the next topic, that is string manipulation function. So as we all know that now I have declared a string, I have initialized a string, I got to know that how we are going to read and write the content of a string. Then if I wanted to perform some of the operation with my string, then I have to use the string manipulators. For that we have a several inbuilt function. So in that we have first function called Sdrlen that represent string length. Str is string and len represent the length. So when I wanted to find a length of a string, at that time we are going to use this Sdrlen function. So here you can see that what the string length function will going to returns as an output. So it returns the length of the string. That means it returns the number of character which is included in the string variable. Okay, so it will going to specify the number of character present in the string excluding the null character. When I am taking a size of a string or when I am taking a length of a string, it should not include null character. By default, compiler will going to specify the null character in order to specify the end of a string. Okay, so that we have to consider only the character, that means the value of a string instead of including the null character. So we have to exclude that null character, then we have to find the length of a string. So here we can see the general form. What it indicates, variable, I have to store the length of a string in some variable. For that purpose we are using this variable is equal to strlen of string. Okay, I am specifying the size, I am specifying the number of character which is there in the string. That will going to be stored in some variable. Okay, this kind of variable must be integer. So it can't be float number, it can't be character, it must be integer variable. So here you can see one more example. What is the variable I am taking? L is equal to strlen. So prior to this, you can make like this, like int L. After that, L is equal to strlen of, I am taking a value called EMPRESS. Okay, so now you count. How many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then what is this string length returns now? It will going to return 7. That will going to be stored in a variable called L. Okay, this is how string length function will going to represent. What there is no characters or what there is no value in a string, at that time a string of a length 0 is called as a null string, because that string does not contain any value, there is no characters, there is no sequence of character, then I can say that as a null string. Okay, so here already we have learnt regarding this strlen function. What and all I have discussed in my previous program, same as this one. That is, here you can see that L is equal to strlen of st. So for example, for st, if I am giving Suma, Okay, consider my value of ST is Suma, and if I am using L is equal to STRLEN of ST, then it will going to returns a value 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I taking a null value here? Am I taking a null value or a new line character? No, I have to exclude all those things when I wanted to find the length of a string. So for that purpose, we are going to use this string length function. So what is this string concatenation function we are going to do? So this is mainly used to concatenate two strings. So we are going to use this string concatenation function in order to make or in order to concatenate or to combine two strings. Okay, so when I am going to combine two strings, then it will going to form a single string. So that process is called as concatenation. That process is called as concatenation. So we'll see the general form Sdrcat of string 1 comma string 2. What it indicates? So whatever there in string 1 and we have something in str2 or a string 2. So whatever there in str string 2, that will going to be appended to the end of this string 1. And you have to understand one thing, the string 1 must have enough space in order to hold the value of this string 2. Okay, so you can see the example here. First I am declaring string 1, that is char str1 of size is equal to win. What is the str1 value? str1 value is win. After that, I have one more variable called str2, that is string 2. So that includes DOWS8. After that, I am using a function called string concatenation. Within that, I am calling this str1 and I am using this str2. What it indicates? Whatever there in str2 will going to be concatenated or will going to be combined with this str1. So now string 2 is DOWS8. Okay, but now what this str1 includes? So that includes Windows 8. So because I copied or combined the value of str2 to str1, so it will going to have str1 as a Windows 8. Okay, so now the value of str1 is Windows 8. So this is how we are going to use this string concatenation function. So we'll see the next function, that is Sdrcpy. What it indicates? As the name indicates, CPY is nothing but copy. When I want to copy the content of str2 to str1, then we are going to use this string copy. But whatever were there in the str1 will going to get vanished and the new value will going to be stored in the str1 after the copying function. We'll see now. A string cannot copy to another string by using a assignment statement. So if I wanted to copy the content of one string to another string, I can't do with the assignment operator. For example, st is equal to win, okay, and st1 is equal to dose. Now I wanted to copy the content of st1 to st, but I can't do like this, like st is equal to st1. We can't do like this. Okay, that means with by making use of this assignment operator, simply I can't copy the content of st1 to st. So in order to copy that content from one string to another string, we are going to use this Sdrcpy function. Okay, the function Sdrcpy is used in order to copy a string into another string. We'll see the general form. Sdrcpy is the name of a function and it will going to take two arguments are a parameter, that is string 1 and string 2. Whatever there in the string 2 will going to be copied to string 1. Okay, so now char str1, I am not specifying a space. That indicates what? It will going to assign or it will going to take the number of character count, then that size will going to be assigned by the compiler. Okay, char str1 is equal to computer. What is the value of str1 now? That is computer, and char str2 is equal to science. That is computer and science. And Sdrcpy str1 comma str2. Whatever is there in the str2 will going to be copied to str1. So now what this str1 will going to include? str1 will going to include science. Because the content of this str2 has been copied to str1. Whatever there in the str1 will going to be vanished, or it will going to be removed, and it will just like a rewriting, or it is just like what? Rewriting the content of one string to another string. Here we are making a overwrite. Okay, so whatever the content is there in string 2 will going to be copied to string 1. Okay, so now we'll see the next function, that is Sdrcmp function. When I wanted to compare two strings, so whether it is greater than, lesser than, or equal to, when I wanted to do all those operations, which function we are supposed to use? That is string comparison. Okay, so Sdrcmp function is used in order to make a comparison between the two string. So here we have two kinds of comparison. One is string comparison with respect to the ASCII value or with respect to the character. That is what it will be case sensitive, whether it is upper letter or a lower letter, or whether it is a capital letter or a small letter. Based on that we are going to make a comparison. That is what? Sdrcmp. And we have one more function called Sdrcmpi. So I is not case sensitive. So if I am going to write capital T or small t, everything will going to be assigned, or everything will going to be treated as a same variable or a same value. Okay, so that difference you have to understand here. So first function is Sdrcmp. As I said, it is mainly used to perform a comparison between the two string, whether it is greater than or lesser than or equal to. On basis of what? We are going to compare, or we are going to make this comparison basis on the ASCII character. So already I have discussed regarding the ASCII character in the data representation itself, because each character will going to have a ASCII value. Okay, so based on that ASCII value, it will going to returns either string 1 is greater than s2, or string 1 is lesser than s2, or string 1 is equal to s2. That and all you have to remember. We'll see this function is used to alphabetically compare a string with another string. When I wanted to compare one string with another string which is based on the ASCII character value, then we are going to use this string comparison function. So this function is case sensitive. Important here students. What it mean case sensitive? It will not going to consider capital T and small t as a same value or a same variable. So instead of that, it will going to differentiate between the uppercase as well as the lowercase. That is what it means, the case sensitive. Okay, so that is, it will going to treat the uppercase letter and lowercase letter as a different value. Then what is the syntax we are going to use? So Sdrcmp is a function, okay, that comprises of two values called string 1 and string 2. You have to understand one thing, string 1 is greater than string 2. When the string 1 is greater than string 2, then it will going to return the positive value. When the string 1 is lesser than string 2, at the time it will going to represent, or it will going to return negative value, and it will going to return 0 when the string 1 is equal to string 2. Okay, so these are the three rules you have to understand. It will going to take place based on the ASCII character. So string comparison, str1 will going to compare with the string 2. So if the ASCII value of this string 1 is greater than this str2 or a string 2, then it will going to return the positive value. So let me take one example here. Char s1 is equal to the, and char s2 is equal to, okay. Here in the string comparison, each character will going to be compared between the each character. So that is what, first I am going to make a comparison between t and t. Which is greater here, that you have to understand based on the ASCII characters. So t and t will going to be compared, and it will going to give some difference, and h and e both are same, then it won't bother about that. But whatever the value of capital T in the ASCII format and whatever the value of small t in the ASCII value will going to take a difference. If this string 1 is greater than string 2, then it will going to return positive value. When the string 1 is lesser than string 2, then it will going to return negative value. If both are equal, then it will going to return equals, or strings are equals. So here if I am using S is equal to or S1 equal to the and S2 is equal to the, is both are same now as per the ASCII character? Yes, because I have used all the character as a uppercase. So it will going to return string are equal. It will going to return as both the S1 and S2 strings are equal. Okay. So now we'll see about the next function, that is Sdrcmpi. So here you have to make a mark. That is what, instead of CMP we are having I. So what it indicates? So if you consider a Sdrcmp, at that time it is case sensitive because it won't consider uppercase and lowercase as the same values or a same character. So based on the ASCII value it will going to work. But when we are using this Sdrcmpi, it will going to treat both uppercase as well as the lowercase as the same value. So that this function is used to alphabetically in order to compare a string with one another string, but the function is not case sensitive. Understand? Here the function is not case sensitive. It is not based on the type of a character, whether it is uppercase or a lowercase. Based on that it won't bother. So instead of that it will going to treat all the uppercase and lowercase characters as a same value. So you can see the general form which is same as the previous one, but the main thing is here we are going to use I. Sdrcmp I, and it has two parameters, string 1 and string 2. At last we are going to use semicolon. So we'll see the example. Char str1 there, THERE, and I have one more string called str2. In that we have THERE. What it will going to return? Will it going to treat this str1 and str2 as the same value or different value? It will going to treat str1. It will going to treat str1 and str2 as a same value. It will going to return str1 and str2 as a equal value. Why? Because it is not bothering about the cases, but we have a same character. If yes, then it will return 0. That means both the strings are equal. So let me take one more example. So what it indicates? So it indicates that here we have a E, here we have a C. So based on that it will going to consider str1 is greater than this str2. Why? Because we have a different values in first character and the remaining two values are same. So it will going to make a difference only between the first character of each string function. This is how this Sdrcmpi function will going to work. Okay, I hope you all understood with the string functions. So we'll see the next one, that is other functions. We have learned regarding this character function as well as the string function. Then we have some more functions, other function, that includes, or when I wanted to use some of the other function which is not related to the character and string, then we have to use this standard library function. This standard library function will going to provide us in order to use rand, srand, and we have a random and we have a randomize. So here you can see that randomize. So when I wanted to generate random numbers, so I don't know what number it will going to generate because it is based on the compiler. Compiler will going to generate some of the random numbers. When you wanted to have random number, at that time you have to use a function called randomize. At that time you have to use a function called randomize. This function will going to returns, or it will going to initialize the random number generator within the random. Next we have one more function called random of n. So here we have a parameter, that means I have n within that. That indicates that I can give the maximum value. So if I am using random of 10, if I am using random of 10, so what it indicates, the compiler will going to generate 10 random numbers between 0 to 10. So or else between 0 to n minus 1. So if the n value is 11, then it will going to take n minus 1, then it will going to return 10 values. That means it will going to generate 0 to 10 numbers which is random in nature. Okay, so random, it generates a random numbers between 0 to n minus 1. If it is 1, then it will be n. Okay, if it is 0, then it will be n minus 1. If it is 1, it will be up to n value. Okay, and we have some more function called a to I. So when I wanted to convert string to numerics or a number, then we are going to use this a to I. So a represent string and I represent number or a numeric. Okay, so here a to I of a string, whatever the string I am giving as a parameter value, at that time whatever the string is there, that will going to be converted into its equivalent numeric ASCII character. So we have a last function, that is I to A. So as I told, I is a number and A is a string. So when I wanted to convert ASCII value or a numeric value into its equivalent character, then we are going to use this I to A. So that is, it converts a numbers to a string. These are all the other functions. In order to use these many functions, I have to include this standard library.h header file. I hope you all understood this session as well as the complete chapter. I hope you all understood with this function chapter. Let me meet you in the new session with a new chapter. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.